What's good, listeners? Welcome to the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show, Bunker Edition. Good morning, Marissa. How's it going, fam?
Oh my gosh, fabulous. It rained this morning in SoCal. I loved it.
There's a reason for why it's raining in Southern California, because we got Music Storm 2022 Part 2, and it's not necessarily a Category 5 storm. We don't want that, but we got a killer lineup here to end off the Season 11 finale of the Chris Collins Show, and we just want to say we are just so beyond stoked at such the stacked strike a chord lineup that we've had over the years. I mean, we really pride ourselves on not trying to sound like a skipping LP, because you know, I've used this analogy so many times, but we all love the band Guns N' Roses, right? But you know what? They always play the same music over and over and over again. We all know Welcome to the Jungle, Sweet Child of Mine, but where's that Night Train? Where's Rocket Queen?
Night Train. It's one of my favorite songs.
You know what I'm saying,
I never
Marissa?
hear it.
So we pride ourselves on being as diverse as possible, and we're so thankful to have all these kind of kick-ass artists of different genres from all different time zones. I mean, that's what makes the Chris Collins Show's Strike a Chord that much special, and that's why we're so gifted to have the fourth installment of Music Storm Part 2 here with us right now. Woo! So if you're ready, Marissa, I think it's time to pretty much rock and roll, because this lineup is killer, fam. Let's get it going.
I really can't stand that song, but every time it comes on, I'm a beer and whiskey guy. She likes her red wine. I never touched it, now I love it when I taste it on her lips.
And we are excited to have multi-award-winning Irish country rock band Hurricane Highway return live to the Chris Collins Show Millennial Talk Show. And as we get in, the fabulous one and only Ed Holland here with us, and I believe he is in our country right now as we speak. Ed, how you doing, my man? Oh, he's getting his audio going. That's the world.
I like the Modelo hat.
Yeah, he's switching it up a little bit.
Yes, that's the American hat, homie. I was just saying hi, Ed. Can you hear us yet?
Yo, well, he's connecting his audio,
yes.
But you know, one of the coolest things I know when we got
there
Ed
you
on.
are. Hey, I'm just saying, I love your hat. It is so American.
Modelo,
Negro Modelo. That's my jam. That's my drink, dude.
How's it going, Ed? How you doing, my man?
I'm good. I'm a bit jet lagged, but I'm good, man. All good, Chris.
And that's good, Ed, because I know the last time we spoke in August, you shared your recording process with us, which I think is so fascinating, because, you know, you guys as a band, you guys are in two different time zones, right? I mean, you know, you're doing a lot of the recording the music in Nashville, and you do the mixing process typically in Ireland, but I believe you're in Nashville as we speak. Am I correct?
I just landed home just now I'm just an hour and a half home from Nashville.
My gosh. So what have you been cooking up in Nashville? Wait,
I just want to say just real quickly, this is how professional Ed is. Not only does he respond to my emails right away, but he flew into another country, jet lagged, and still jumped on the show. So Ed, I love you.
Hey, we love it, baby.
You got it.
You got to do in this business, right? In this business, you got to be on top of your P's and Q's. Otherwise, people, they'll just keep passing you pass.
There's no rest. The rotation, just keep going.
So what's going on? So I hear that you guys have 10 tracks or more in the process that you were in Nashville?
Absolutely. We recorded 13, so we're going to put the best 10 on the album. We just wanted to have another 3 done just while we're over there to make sure. We're really pleased with how everything's coming out. And we shot a video over there in downtown Nashville with some crazy meetings over there with all the team that we're working with other writers from Chicago, Kentucky. It was a roller coaster. We just hit the ground running. It was 6:30 in the morning to 11 o'clock at night. Go. 13 songs recorded. They're being mixed now at the minute. We don't know when the release date is, but there's going to be a single this summer, we're hoping. And we also done a duet, our first ever duet. So we'll be releasing that soon enough.
I love duets. By the way, I'm a sucker for duets because I have everything love, and I cannot wait to hear it.
Yeah. I think that is so cool, Ed. I mean, what is the overall theme that you guys are trying to encompass with this new record?
Well, it's going to be the Nashville album, Hurricane Highway Nashville, and it's all about going there, experiencing everything. We went to the Grand Ole Opry as you can see.
I love it. Yeah, got that shirt. You have to go there.
But yeah, so we just went over. We wanted to, experience the whole thing with recording over there, with doing actually a Nashville album from start to finish. We've been working on it here for the last 14, 15 months, right through the pandemic, writing songs. We had 30 songs. We picked the best 13. We went and recorded them. And just with the producers we're working with over there, they worked with the best of the best. And we're just so pleased. This will be our best record yet.
And this is the first time you guys... Is this the first time, Ed, you guys were in the studio together? Because last time we talked, you guys were all over the world and had been, mixing it, basically online.
Exactly. Well, with the producer that I work with, he comes in and out maybe every second week, maybe every third week on the writing sessions, just to get a feel for the songs that we're writing. So we've done all that as well through the 15 months. So he was in Nashville, one of the writers in Kentucky, the other one's in Chicago, to give you how the process works. So they came down. The guy from Chicago works very closely with me. He came down. We a session player as well. We use a drummer in Nashville as well. So we have the core of the band, and then we build a band around us over there. So we're hoping as well to be doing some tour next year.
Well, I was going to say, Ed, the last time you were on the show, you kept saying how your guitarist, Kevin Collins was the one. Yes, my dad's name, which is so funny. But he was the one that kept you on the highway while you considered yourself, Ed Holland, as the one that is the hurricane. You are in the music storm as we speak. You are recording these new music right now, or at least you just came back home from that process. But has anything evolved with your style since the beginning of your career with Hurricane Highway?
Absolutely. The sound is getting more and more mature all the time. This record.
But when you say mature, what does that mean? Is it because you guys are exploring new routes, like new duets, like you just said earlier?
We are, and this will be our first time. We always kind of felt, maybe when the right time comes, we will do a duet. So there's one or two that we've demoed with on the track over there. So we're not sure yet. There's one girl over there that's maybe launching a new career.
I'm shocked that this is your first duet. I mean, it seems like almost a lot of your music videos, you guys welcome. It's like a party. If you're not in that music video, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, this is kind of where another artist has come in and collaborated with us. So we've been working on that. So they're mixing in that at the minute. So it was really exciting. One of the songs that we're really excited about it on the album, I'll even give you an exclusive. It's called How About You? So it's nice. The girl asking the guy, and the guy asking the girl, how about you? How about you? How about you?
Ooh, I can't wait to hear this. Well, obviously, so buy it right away. So.
Well, obviously, this pandemic is not stopped Hurricane Highway, as you have been having the luxury lifestyle, being able to leave your home country of Ireland and go to Nashville, Tennessee. But as you kind of see, the music industry is kind of starting to get back up on its feet. Is there any good, the bad, or ugly that you've been noticing that's kind of maybe might hinder the coming months for you guys' release?
Things still aren't coming back full flight on the touring side of things. It's still harder. Promoters are getting harder. There's a backlog of concerts. There's all that. There'll be some festivals and stuff like that. But it is still pretty difficult out there as of yet. But hopefully that will all iron itself out, and next year will be full flight at it. So it's just about giving that side of things more time. And our main focus was get to Nashville, do a music video over there. We done a photo shoot over there, and then totally get the album done and be on form over there doing it. So because the heat over there, 92 degrees, it was
something that you're not used to.
That's right, you're not used to it.
I got back today, drove from Dublin 4 hours, and I mean, it rained the whole way. So I mean, I just let the window down and let the rain in. It was.
You love the rain. You're so funny, Ed. Oh my God.
Well, Ed Holland, we can't thank you again for you joining our Music Storm 2022. This is a multi-award-winning group. So if you haven't checked out these Irish country rockers, go ahead, do that right now. They're all over every streaming platform. This is Hurricane Highway and Ed Holland. Thank you again for joining the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show.
For the world, guys. I wouldn't have.
Thank you, Ed.
Got the OP blunts in the air with some pretty city bitty. I never had my much support when I was growing up. Now everywhere I go, they all show.
Yeah, that's what's good. That is Freckles. But we have to inform our listening audience there have been a lot of moving parts happening behind the scenes, and Freckles did want to let you guys know that she's got so much love for the CCS family because she is just so stoked that she was introduced to new fans who have been introduced to her music because of our interview from the past couple of seasons ago when we had her on for the first time ever. But I did want to share with you, Marissa, I did think it was really funny. I mean, anybody who did not know Freckles, I think she's got one of the most coolest, fascinating names in the game. I think it truly fits her. Compared to her first name, which I have to share again because it's so hilarious. I know everybody's been kind of struggling with how to find yourself to be more discovered online, and Freckles found that out the hard way in the beginning of her career, which she first was before she was called Freckles with the PH in money because she is the beautiful ginger girl with all the freckles, so it really stands out for her. But remember, Marissa, she used to be called Famali, tamale. And how Famali was spelled out, it's like female, right? I mean, if you guys can catch that on with us right now as you're tuning in, that doesn't necessarily work, especially during a time where millennials, including Gen Z, are kind of discovering themselves in different ways because of gender and sex. And, I kind of joked with her, Marissa, that she was kind of in the middle of the pronoun wars, because it's kind of hard to compete with that when everybody's trying to, I guess, quote unquote, discover themselves. But I do know that Freckles would love for us to share her music. I know that she says she's very excited. She's got other projects that she's doing in the mix, but she does want you to know that in this summertime, she's got more collaborations in the works and all that kind of fun jazz. So she says, keep a lookout. There's a vision there, and it will be introduced this summer. What's good? So we got the boys from Sleep Cycles, but I was just about to say, yeah. So we do have a little
seconds ago.
Yeah. So it's all they having technical issues. That is just the beauty with the lifestyle of Zoom. Yeah, I know, college kids, you guys all lived through it during your universities. Yes, some of you kids in high school, you guys had to experience this during maybe your first or 2 years in higher education. But hey, the show must go on. And this is Music Storm 2022 Part 2. We do want to share that, we had such a great time with Chris the first time he was on the show. They were very excited that they were about to be dropping their first debut EP, which is called Learning to Fall. I mean, some of my favorite tracks on there are called The Confines to the 88. But while we don't have them on here, I know that they would be excited for us to share with you guys that they've been fortunate enough to be able to tour with such iconic groups. And when I say iconic, I mean, like, these are the bands that I grew up dying to see at Warped Tour. And I'm praying to God that Warped Tour comes back. So Kevin Lime, if you're listening right now, come on, my guy, do your part, bring back Warped Tour. But they were touring with groups like Hawthorne Heights, Escape the Fate, and even our homie Danny, who just joined us last week with the Story Estate, also plays with Red Jumpsuit Apparatus, who is also making a comeback. Well, believe it or not, it's so weird to think that, Marissa, that Sleep Cycles actually joined in on a lineup with the group that we've already interviewed in the past before. I think that is so freaking insane, and congrats to Sleep Cycles. But since we got a couple minutes until our next artist comes in, I kind of feel like this is appropriate to kind of let you guys know what's good. Here are some of the new music topics that are being discussed this week. So I feel like you guys might be intrigued about this, because imagine being able to tell an app exactly the type of music you'd like to create. Well, there's something in the works. You might be able to tell it the key, the tempo, the genre, the subgenre, and then that app will just make it for you. So you can basically record a verse or a chorus, and then you upload your vocals to this platform, and then it will create an entire quote-unquote professional musical production around all of your style of choosing. Well, this artificial intelligence music app is called Soundful, and it is receiving major backing from Disney and Microsoft. So it's in the beta phase, which I kind of find quite fascinating.
I want to see this like so bad, like especially if someone who's not necessarily musically inclined. If I know that it can also be something that I could do,
well, this kind of makes me laugh, Marissa, because I remember watching last week on First Take. They got an amazing NFL insider named Dan Orlovsky, and he was getting made fun of by Stephen A. Smith for using an app very similar to this. And I believe he must have been using TikTok's version, because TikTok's already been on this idea of music AI apps, and that is called Witness Juke Decks. But the only difference compared to TikTok, compared to Microsoft and Disney's backing of an app called Soundful is, they say that Soundful actually knows music theory. So what they're hoping to do is have actually inclined musicians who know what they're doing be able to use this app, hopefully to be able to ramp up production. Maybe they feel like artists today aren't necessarily like the Beatles, Marissa. Beatles were pumping out music like every 3 months, 6 months. I kind of
disagree. I think artists are pumping out a lot of music, just we're not necessarily hearing it on.
Well, that was kind of the grudge that Spotify CEO was slamming last year against a lot of these up and coming artists. You cannot release music every 2 or 3 years and think you're gonna make a dinero through our streaming service. You have to be consistent. And I think that's why a lot of artists are choosing to go more of the single routes, sometimes the EP route, but more single than anything, because they want to have all eyeballs and ears on that one song, and they don't want you deviating too much. And then they'll release the next kick-ass song. So that's, kind of something that's truly special. But I know that Sleep Cycles, they got a lot of big plans going in the future. Check out their debut EP. It is so freaking killer. The album is called Learning to Fall. And I know Chris Newhart, he would love for us to tell you guys that they are excited that they are working on brand new music right now going into this summertime. So hopefully it's that full length anticipated album that all of us have been looking forward to. But stick around, more left on Music Storm 2022 Part 2.
Hold me down, baby, tell me if you with it, can you hold me down? You got me deep in emotions, falling girl, you got me sipping on potion. Hold me down, baby, tell me if
yeah, that's what's good. Returning live to the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show from Queens, New York, is Rap Entourage, Resounding. And as we get their audios connecting on in right now, we got Kiki with us right now. Hey, what's good? How you doing, fam?
What's up?
Hey, dang, girl. I like that backdrop. I mean, you really setting the tone right now. Okay. That's what I'm talking about.
New York. I love me some New York. By the way, one of my favorite places I ever visited. I love New York.
And what's good, gentlemen? We always love having you guys on. We have Resounding. And the last time we spoke was in June, guys. So it's so cool to be able to retouch with you guys, because I know last time we had you guys on, you guys were like, get ready for the awakening. Now what I'm seeing all over you guys' social media is the resurgence has arrived and the new season is here. So what does that mean for Resounding?
Man, like it's like a whole like atmosphere, honestly, because just like once you listen to the track, it's just like then it's like the arrival, like I said, the resurgence is here. It's just like, yo, we're here and we're here to stay and we're not going anywhere soon, because last time we spoke, we was preparing. Now a lot of those songs are like finalized, and now it's just the rollout period, like music videos, photo shoots, song. And this was the first song. Like, this is a new season. We're literally with the season and like is the spring, So
yeah. Set the tone, baby, right? Yeah. And like, I'm so curious with you guys as an entourage group, because like, how do you guys describe your music with others?
We're better.
Yes,
I like
yes.
that.
By the way, and that is no joke because the guys, you kill it every single time. You bring your A game, like you bring everything together. Like you had your own sound, you bring the streets, you bring the producing, so it's not just all just raw. Like legit, I love it.
But you know what? I know you're putting words to mouth for Resounding, Marissa. But I'm curious from Resounding, what are you guys aiming to do differently in the hip hop scene that others aren't doing right now?
Be ourselves and tell our story, because a lot of the mainstream stuff is like a lot of it's a lot of fabrication, a lot of things that's just put together to sound cool, but we kind of like these songs are actually what we believe in, like, and who we are in these moments of creating these songs. And that's what we want people to like to understand when we make our music. And in the sound and our energy, it's like that's who we are as a collective, as a unit. And I played actually new season and yesterday in the studio with like a bunch of like different artists, and like I showed it to people, like a whole bunch of people, and like I'm listening to other people's music is cool too, but like everybody's saying, yo, you guys' energy are different. And like I'm like, I know that, and it's like good to know when other people hear the music and it reaffirms that.
Well, yeah, you guys are so refreshing. You guys actually feel like our generation when I start listening to your guys' music. But I'm also very curious because your guys' city of New York has kind of been in the limelight during this whole hip hop scene. I'm sure you guys have heard all the words that Mayor Eric Adams had to say about the reason for hip hop music, about how he says that, you know, violence is on the rise because of quote unquote drill rap. Now he's kind of changing his mind because now he got in a group with other drill rappers. He's like, now I understand now. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Because it already sounds like don't wait for later. You already on top of this. Share your thoughts on how you feel about Eric Adams.
This is not Footloose to where you could ban dancing and now everybody's just going to follow that. I think the biggest problem when it comes to people who blame hip hop in particular, when it comes to music, is the same thing as like people who blame video games, where it's just like, oh, it's the violence, it's this, and there's promoting that, which is like, yes, I'm not debating whether or not it's promoting violence in a sense, but you can't get rid of a genre of music, because if you just do that, it's a genre created to be rebellious. If you get rid of that, or so you say, it's just going to create something else. It's not the only one that talks about violence. Every other genre that talks about violence, like, yo, rock and roll,
heavy metal.
Well, I don't know.
It talks about violence. It's just it's focused on hip hop so more. It's very frustrating.
Yeah, what does Barry?
Yeah, and
Jay-Z. Just the main thing of just like, you can't silence hip hop.
Yeah, Jay-Z is actually heading right now in Congress for a bill to pass for all musics that their lyrical content won't be used legally against them as a character witness.
Well, yeah, it's well, Jay-Z has that same law protected in the state of New York, where you can't use your lyrical content to be used against you in the court. Not necessarily the same case that's happening in Atlanta, Georgia, with Young Thug and Gunna. But what does Eric Adams need to know about artistic expression that he clearly doesn't get? Because he's kind of flip-flopping. I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think?
You can't stop creativity. You can't silence what people do to get out of their situations. And no matter what, the music is always going to be there, whether it's drill, whether it's boom bap, whether it's a whole bunch of different subgenres within hip hop. You can't silence what hip hop does for their own communities. Instead of actually worrying about the music, actually worry about putting money into those low income houses, actually worry about stopping actual gang violence and not just the music that it is. Actually try to take the guns off the streets, actually try to give them better education, try to actually help them instead of just throwing them in jail and calling it a day.
And it's been proven that if you invest in music with our grade school, junior high, high school, you invest in the arts, that crime goes down immediately, because there is an outlet for them to express themselves and work through problems and have all kinds of stuff. And so it's been proven. And yet, time after time, what's cut? Arts. Music, programs like that. Always.
It's so true, Marissa. And I did want to get with you guys in Resounding, because I've noticed as I've been following you guys for the last year now, you guys are very keen on releasing singles. I'm kind of a hater on that philosophy. I like the idea of full-length mixtapes and albums. But I want to know from you guys, why is that the case? Why do you guys prefer single drops compared to a mixtape?
I think I'm gonna speak on this a little bit, but I think it's not really that we aim for that or the other. Honestly, it's just on our like what we're feeling at the moment. And honestly, we took the time last year to actually build on an album. So we're on our way to it, but we just, putting the singles is just like starting it, momentum, like brewing.
Right. Okay, so you got the cauldron pot. You guys are brewing up something juicy behind the scenes, but you guys are so excited that you're like, man, I know it's taking a while, but trust me, it's a reason for it taking this long, and we're gonna give you guys tiny little anecdotes. But that's just the garlic bread. Wait until you get on that fiesta, and it's gonna be juicy, baby. Join the ride. Join the ride. This is Resounding. I love it, guys. The new season is here. I can't thank Resounding enough for joining us for our Music Storm 2022, and much luck for the future. And when the music gets closer, we'll have you guys back on, fam. Returning live on the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show, is Milwaukee punk rockers Avenues. And as we get them situated right now, because of the beauty of online virtual chat, here comes on the lovely lads of Avenues. How's it going, guys?
Hey! How's everyone doing?
And we are beyond stoked to have you guys join us for our Music Storm 2022. And how's it going, my dudes? How you been?
Living well. Can't complain. We got summer vibes finally.
Right?
You guys have the sun, and today we have the rain.
Well, that's because we got a music storm in place. And I know Avenues, the last time we spoke in November, you guys shared with our listening audience your excitement for the release of your full-length album, We Are Doomed. And how's been the response so far touring on the road with this new record?
So far, so good. We're happy to announce that vinyl is about to be shipping soon. So we've been waiting impatiently for this. It's about time, but it's like any day now.
Why is vinyl so crucial in the punk rock industry?
That's where no one wants to listen to CDs. It's a generational thing.
And it also they scratch. No, CDs I get them.
Marissa, LP scratch too.
Lip. No, not if you're careful. You much more careful with a record. Okay, I am way more careful with a record.
But Marissa, I've always noticed that, punk rock LPs, they tend to be the number one seller in that main genre.
Because we
compared
collect
to I knew heavy metal used to be kind of into it. Maybe if you're at your favorite 70s or 80s band, maybe you kind of want to collect it. It's kind of hard for modern bands to kind of convince you to grab LPs. So why do you think the punk rock industry is so invested with LPs?
I think it's one of those where you get the artwork. It's the old school, you get that vibe that's warmer. It sounds better. It's that collectability. I don't know. It's just something that we just never grew out of. I don't know, Mark, what do you think?
I have a collection. You collect them. And the same thing is they actually sound better. Music sounds better on a record, period.
Hey,
there's a storytelling behind it. There's a whole thing. When you put on a record, it's not like putting on a CD where you put it on and that's it. It's like you put on a vinyl record, you have to pay attention to it because you have to flip the record when it's done. There's like a thing to it. There's a dedication to it,
Yeah, there's a whole process to it. There's chapter 1 and there's chapter 2, the B side and the A side. I think that is so freaking cool. And I know, what do you guys miss the most about touring and playing live music again?
I think camaraderie and seeing a bunch of old friends and just being loud. And that excitement that you get from playing on stage.
And what have been some funny stories so far now that you guys are back on 2 feet on the main stage? What are some funny things that have been happening so far now that you guys are kind of out of the pandemic and playing live shows again?
Well, it's one of those, I think at the last show, we're headlining it and all of a sudden, we got done in 20 minutes, our normal shtick. And then the crowd wants more. So then all of a sudden it's like, who remembers these songs? Go, 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 go. On stage.
Well, shit, you guys are like the king of playing, live covers, which I find so fascinating with you boys. Because I know the last time we guys had you guys on, I was teasing you guys about why the hell would Avenues even decide to choose Blue Oyster Cult's Godzilla? And why did you guys have such a fascination for this? Now I feel like you guys took an even greater risk for Avenues because you guys are in the punk rock scene. You guys covered one of the most iconic punk rock bands of all times. That is called Face to Face. And I know Trevor Keith, he's not necessarily an easy guy to resemble, but why did you guys want to record Shoot the Moon?
Well, it was one of those, our label Wiretap came at us. He's like, we want you guys to do a face-to-face song. Please do this band. So he kind of picked the bands for us. And then we collectively looked at the list of songs, and Vin, he's like, no, guys, this is it. We narrowed it down between like 3 or 4 songs. He's like, this is the song we should do. And made a couple tracks of it, and it turned out pretty well, in my opinion. It was a lot of fun putting it together.
But how do you guys do your own thing on a cover? Do you guys feel like you got to stay true to the sound that Face to Face encompassed, or did you guys feel like you wanted to do, hey, this is Avenue's take on a classic record?
I think it's a little bit of both, honestly. I think there's like, you got to pay respect to how it was done, you know what I mean? And you don't want to mess it up too bad. But then, you know, just add in little things, little flavors of your own in there, you know, just to kind of spice it up. But for the most part, I truly like covering songs the way that they are, but also, I mean, it's Avenues, so you got to do it like Avenues, right?
Hey, that's so true. I think it is important to let the listening audience know that track just dropped today, right? Exactly. I mean, that brand new cover is available on all streaming services. And I know as a band, when you guys revisit these covers, what skills do you learn after the process? Is there anything that you learn differently that you're like, I haven't necessarily thought this way until we actually work together as a band to perfect this cover from Face to Face?
100%, because you're imitating someone else's art form. So you're learning what they did. And you're like, I never thought about playing a riff that way, or, you know, this rhythm, melody, or harmony, or whatever. And I'm sure learning drums and Mark can contest to it is you're picking up someone else's style. And
because I know it's easy for a drummer to be like, let's pick up the tempo. Let's just do it a little bit faster than what they did on the previous recording. Let's just do it our own thing and let's speed it up. I think that is so freaking cool. And I know you guys are really fresh off this full-length EP. I know it took you guys a couple of years to create that new music, but I think it's fair to say to ask this question because we're approaching the summertime. Are you guys holding back? Are you guys already working on new music? Because I mean, I'm seeing your shot right now. You guys already look like you're in the studio right now. It looks like the music never stops producing.
It's publisher perish. You can't stop, my friend. And just the way that things are backlogged, we could write an album, get it done this month. We won't have it for a year and a half. It's just the ebb and flow of how things are right now. So yeah, we're always trying to pump out new tunes, and Vin's got a stack of them that he's been demoing out, and they sound pretty crispy.
Yeah. I have to say, as someone who like goes to shows all the time and looks at music, I hadn't realized that COVID's backlog is the reason why I'm waiting for so many things.
Oh,
and
yeah,
every artist keeps saying that, oh, I can't book a gig because there's the backlog happening. I need the album. So I'm like, oh, I'll cut you some slack.
Well, you just said an amazing line that I think a lot of up and coming artists need to take to heart. Publisher or perish. I like that. I like that. That sounds like a title of a potential single coming into the mix. Yeah. That's clever, my friend. I like that. Hey, Avenues, with the music that you guys have been producing over the last couple of years, you guys are here to stay in the punk rock industry, and I can't thank you guys enough for joining Music Storm 2022.
Drop a buffer of my reflection in this walk amongst the dead. But paint my recollection to this chemical imbalance.
Yeah, that's what's good. That is Weatherworn, but you know, beyond our control. Weatherworn, they unfortunately could not make today's show for Music Storm 2022, but they did send us an email that they wanted us to share with the CCS family. And they did want to say, we can't thank everybody enough that's been introduced to their music because of our Strike a Chord interview that we did with Weatherworn. They did want to share that they've gotten an overwhelming support from their new LP, which is called Postcards. So if you haven't listened to it, definitely check it out. And they also informed Marissa and I that they are working due diligently over the summertime to create what they're calling a trilogy of music videos. And when I read that, Marissa, my first thought was, that's kind of funny that they, as a band, want to actually do trilogy of a music video, because I kept thinking about Disney and Star Wars stance about how they want to potentially move their films and TV shows in the future. And they just reported like 2 days ago that they're going to ditch the idea of dropping their film content in the package of a trilogy, which that just seems so not Star Wars. But then again, that might actually work. We haven't seen a band do to that extent. And we know that Postcards is a story that continues from their last record. I'm having a brain fart on the top of my dome. Don't tease me right now, fam. You're enjoying the ride. But I mean, do you find that kind of a risky move to create music videos in a 3-part trilogy?
Absolutely not. I think it's amazing. It's storytelling. I like the idea of it kind of blending in together. And the cool part is they do want to debut their 3rd song on our show. So we're going to get that date, get that set up. You'll be able to see all 3 of their new songs in that trilogy. Storytelling you can determine for yourself sometime in
I think that's actually
June.
I think that's actually something that you just referenced right now that I didn't necessarily think of. We didn't actually hear whether they were actually going to put all 3 songs together in one music video. I know
they're
band,
3 separate.
3 separate.
I have this information.
I was
there are 3 separate music videos. They are debuting at 3 separate dates.
Okay, I was gonna say, because it kind of sounded like, I know a heavy metal band, Ask Alexandria, they did that for their 2nd record, where they combined 3 songs into one big ass music video. That was kind of cool, but it was also very risk taking. So we're looking forward to seeing what Weatherworn has to put up into the mix. So go ahead, check out their brand new record, Postcards. It's really kick ass. There's something about that music video, Marissa. I don't know why. It really throws me back to like 2006, 2008. They really look like they are a part of that mix. And, you know, I'm excited for that group. I mean, they got a lot of great kick-ass music that's been dropping recently. I know that they're excited for this summertime.
Their music videos. That's why I'm really excited to see theirs. Like, their music videos aren't just, I don't know, iPhone style, right? We're like, hey, they really money into it.
And he's the only guy that can pull off the blue hair. I mean, it's either the Smurfs or him, and that's really what it is. So Weatherworn, go ahead, check them out. They got a brand new LP. It's called Postcards. It's here to stay, baby. But hey, stick around. More left here on the Music Storm 2022.
Hey, have you ever tried? Dreams there for those who sleep. Life, I really think that we can make it, girl.
Yeah, that is Cannibal Kids. And, you know, we have to say, unfortunately, there's a lot of moving parts moving today. That's just the world of the music industry. I know these guys, they're jumping on a flight right now as we speak. They thought they can make it happen. But with how, you know, the flight delays, all that kind of fun jazz, we don't necessarily have to explain it to you because who gives a shit? All that matters is check out Cannibal Kids. They got great kick-ass music. And we do want to highlight, before we even talk about Cannibal Kids or even share a micro content from them, we were fortunate enough to have them join us for our 4th installment of Off the Fret, more music talk. And vocalist and guitarist Damian Gutierrez was able to sit down with us for an amazing 1-hour conversation. And it's already garnered over 5,000 views. So you, the CCS family, cannot thank you enough for sharing our interview around with the world. I mean, I don't know. I get goosebumps every time I think about it, Marissa, because, you know, this was something that we've always wanted to do beyond Strike a Chord. I mean, we've been so thankful to meet over like hundreds of artists over the last 3 or 4 years doing the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show, and to be able to be afforded the opportunity to sit down with an artist like Damian for a long period of time and get that kind of wisdom and knowledge gifted to us from Cannibal Kids, I think is something truly special. And for anybody who hasn't seen the Off the Fret interview, well, you're in luck because this is Music Storm after all. I do have a micro content clip from our Off the Fret interview that you can definitely check out right after this live show. But this is a moment with Damian Gutierrez where we discussed why do fans think that they made a tribute album for the Grateful Dead? Have a laugh. This is it right now. You were sort of touching upon it, you know, earlier in the talking point, but I wanted to hold it for now because, you know, obviously I was reading online and there were some people confused with your record Deadheads, thinking it was a tribute band for Grateful Dead.
To Grateful Dead.
Which is so strange to me because, like, who the fuck are your fans? Are they a YMCA club? I mean, my God. I mean, what Gen Z or millennial listens to the Grateful Dead? That's like the most random response I've ever had.
So it's one of those things where, again, I found the name Deadheads in a book for botanistry. It was,
which is where they got it too, by the way.
You have
Just so you know, that's where the deadhead comes from being botanist, weed, like all of that. That's where you got it too.
Yeah, I got the name because it literally means to snip the heads of dead flowers to encourage further blooming. So when I read it, I was like, it's perfect. It's like the part 2. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly why they use deadhead. But that's what I just want to say. Like, you got it from there, and so did deadheads.
But I'm starting to notice a theme with you, Damien, because you kind of remind me of like a very old soul. You're still using voicemails. You're reading dictionaries. Like, my God, who the hell reads a dictionary? And you're not just reading just a normal dictionary. You're reading a botanical dictionary. It's so strange to me. And I guess you were kind of getting at that. And that's what's kind of cool about your records because, Bloom and then Deadheads, they all kind of seem to interweave. And is this like a common theme that you want to introduce with Cannibal Kids where like each album is like the next chapter of Cannibal Kids?
You know what? That's an extremely great question and really insightful that you noticed that. Yes, I've realized in the journey of songwriting and trying out new songs and trying out new things, I've written songs that were one-off, like Nice Boy, Sweet Girl with Casey Conroy, and this new song that's going to be coming out soon called Make It With You. These are songs that like I write, but when I think about the album and the story that albums tell, my favorite stories are the ones where you see a linear timeline between the records. You can almost pinpoint exactly where that artist was and what caused them to write that record. The historic context behind the record is very important to me. I've come to notice that I write my best when I'm writing about my real life experiences. Now I can write songs like, love songs that are kind of like an invisible person and about nothing really. Or I can write like, songs about this or that and kind of have no emotional attachment to them and they can feel great. But the ones that I feel really hit are the ones that are about my specific personal life. So this new record will be about that. It'll be about this trying times and the transformation Cannibal Kids is going through right now and the internal struggle between the three of us growing up and our lives changing directions and how Cannibal Kids has been redefined over and over and over again these past few years. That's what this new record is going to be about.
Yeah, and that's what I appreciate about you boys, because you guys are never married to a sound. You guys are always constantly exploring new avenues. Like, you guys always kind of remind me sometimes of like Japanese pop, and sometimes you guys remind me like you guys could be opening up for Arctic Monkeys one day after another. So I find you guys are going to be around. And I stand by that. I truly do believe that Cannibal Kids are going to stick around for a good time going. I mean, they got a lot of things moving. I mean, like, what we've noticed.
Well, they just shot their newest music video that they were just in LA, flying out of LA to Miami because they just shot their newest music video.
They've been shooting this music video. I know they've been raising fundraising for a track that's called Worms, which is kind of funny, Marissa, that the song's called Worms when literally in our Off the Fret, More Music Talk podcast, there's a moment where I go, Damien, you said in a previous interview with the publisher that you guys create ear-warming tunes. Like, what the hell does that even mean? And so I feel like this song
maybe it's because they took it off of you. Like, what? Chris Collins had something.
I'm starting to feel like Cannibal Kids actually wrote a song about me. Or
about
our conversation. I'm claiming this track. This is an unreleased track that has not been released yet. But I'm just gonna say flat out, if Cannibal Kids go on record after the release of the music and they say, hey, listen, look, this song is about song and dance. No, it ain't, fam. That song's about the one and only Chris Collins and Marissa Pitts. We asked it. They delivered.
Wait, hold on. I got to see the music video first before I claim my name to anything.
Oh, come on. Well, it does look kind of something special. I know they got this amazing music video director from Orlando that came out to Southern California. They're shooting what's supposed to be like this kind of dance piece. So that'll be kind of something fun and different. And I know, Cannibal Kids, they don't stop. They got a lot of things coming around the corner with summertime. And just keep for the lookout because Cannibal Kids, like I said just now, on that micro content, they are here to stay. But hey, I just want to thank you, the CCS family, for joining us for Music Storm Part 2. That is 2022, if you forgot the year update. We've been having a lot of these kind of UFO sightings, but other than that, Congress does know this is the year 2022, and we can't thank.
How cool if we got like the first aliens to come down on our show, like because they were musicians.
Well, we've actually hold up telepathically. I think they just sent me a message just now, Marissa. They said they want to be the first alien terrestrial life to join a music show, and they said, "What now?" Oh, the Chris Collins Show. They like to join us for next year's Music Storm. They couldn't make it on because we're running out of time with this Music Storm 2022 Part 2. But, all jokes aside, 2022 Part 2. I know Marissa says, she's like, hey, make sure it's Part 2. I think people figured that out by now. I know Marissa's teasing me behind the scenes. She's like, Chris, you need.
So we have 2 minutes left, homie. Don't wrap this show so quick.
Well, I'm not. I wasn't gonna necessarily. I thought that's okay. I get where you're going.
I was like, 2 more minutes, home.
Oh,
Keep it rolling. He's like,
I wasn't about to say peace just yet. No, I do want to say, we're beyond thankful. I mean, with Part 1 and Part 2, we were fortunate enough to have such a killer stack lineup. We had over 13 artists being able to join us for the Music Storm. That is our largest roster to date. So, we really pride ourselves on being able to introduce new music from different time zones from all around the world where, you might not necessarily listen to that record unless you physically or digitally pick up that track. But, Marissa and I, it's our goal to be able to introduce you to new music that you wouldn't necessarily invite onto your stereo or inside your car. And I hope that you guys were introduced to new music.
Yeah, and I have to say, I think Strike a Chord is my favorite segment or section of our show because of the diversity, because we tap into bands who you don't necessarily hear on the radio, so you might not be getting exposed to. That's my favorite part, and that's why bringing out the Off the Fret to really dive deep. Like, people need to check it out.
Marissa, I think that's a great point. So we're calling out all the radio icons out there. Hey, Howard Stern, we love you, my man. But you know what? We're here to take over. Joe Rogan, I know you interview a few music artists, but you know what? Chris Collins Show, Marissa Pitts, we are taking over. We are proud to introduce all these amazing new up-and-coming artists that you're not going to hear from other radio stations. So you know what?
Nobody else does what we do.
No one does what we do. I'm going to say
right now, not with it on the air, live, everything.
Not a single soul. Not a single one. But hey, we want to thank you guys for joining us for the season finale of season 12 of the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show. We do want to inform our listening audience that we will be taking a 2-week break, but we will be stronger than ever when we return for season 12. But in the meantime, check out our latest Off the Fret podcast.
But just real quickly, in that 2-week break, that doesn't mean don't check in. We are playing Music Storm 1 and Music Storm 2 again. So you get to catch it. If you miss Music Storm 1, you'll be able to catch it again next week. Same thing, Music Storm 2, you'll be able to catch in 2 weeks.
Hey, that's why we have such an amazing co-host like Marissa Pitts to back up the one and only Chris Collins. Have a great weekend, fam, and we will see you for season 12. Peace.